Man of Steel 2013. On the distant planet Krypton, a world of advanced science and rigid control, society faces extinction due to reckless resource depletion. Jor-El, a brilliant scientist, warns the Council, but his concerns are ignored. Meanwhile, General Zod stages a coup to seize control and save Krypton through extreme measures. Amid chaos, Jor-El and his wife Lara make a bold decision. They send their newborn son, Kal-El, to Earth in a small spacecraft, embedding within him the genetic codex of Krypton's future. As Krypton collapses in a fiery explosion, the child escapes toward a new destiny among humans. Kal-El's spacecraft crash lands in rural Kansas, where he is discovered by Jonathan and Martha Kentucky. They adopt the child, naming him Clark Kent, and raise him as their own. Growing up, Clark begins to display extraordinary abilities, including super strength, speed, and heat vision. Confused and frightened, he struggles to control these powers. Jonathan teaches him restraint, emphasizing secrecy to protect him from a world that may fear him. Despite his isolation, Clark develops a strong moral compass. He learns that his powers must be used responsibly, though he remains uncertain about his true identity and purpose. As Clark matures into adulthood, he becomes a wanderer, moving from place to place while secretly helping people in danger. He avoids forming close relationships, fearing exposure. In one dramatic moment, he saves workers from an oil rig explosion, revealing his heroic instincts. Meanwhile, investigative journalist Lois Lane tracks unusual events, leading her to Clark's trail. Clark eventually discovers a hidden Kryptonian scout ship buried in the Arctic. There, he encounters an artificial intelligence version of his father, Jor-El, who explains his origins and destiny, urging him to become a symbol of hope for humanity. Clark receives a Kryptonian suit from the ship, symbolizing his heritage and purpose. For the first time, he embraces his identity as both Kryptonian and human. However, this revelation coincides with a new threat. General Zod, having survived Krypton's destruction in the Phantom Zone, arrives on Earth with his followers. Zod demands that humanity surrender Kal-El, claiming he is essential to rebuilding Krypton. The world panics as Zod broadcasts his ultimatum globally. Clark faces a difficult choice: reveal himself to humanity or risk global destruction. Ultimately, he decides to surrender, believing it is the only way to protect Earth. Clark turns himself over to the U.S. military and meets Lois Lane, who begins to understand his true nature. Zod's forces arrive and take both Clark and Lois aboard their ship. There, Zod reveals his plan to terraform Earth into a new Krypton. Using the codex within Clark's DNA, Clark resists, refusing to let humanity be sacrificed. With Lois's help, he escapes captivity. During the escape, Clark begins to understand the full extent of his powers under Earth's yellow sun, growing stronger and more capable. He returns to Earth determined to stop Zod at any cost. Zod initiates his plan by deploying a world engine, a massive machine designed to alter Earth's gravity and atmosphere. The device begins transforming the planet, causing widespread destruction. Clark confronts one of the engines in the Indian Ocean, battling immense forces to destroy it. Meanwhile, the military works with Lois to return a Kryptonian ship to the Phantom Zone, which could trap Zod and his forces. The stakes are enormous, as the fate of humanity hangs in the balance. Clark pushes his limits, showing resilience and determination as he fights to save his adopted world. After destroying the world engine, Clark faces General Zod in a brutal, high-stakes battle across Metropolis. Their fight causes massive destruction, highlighting the immense power of Kryptonians. Zod, driven by his singular purpose to restore Krypton, refuses to surrender. He adapts quickly to Earth's environment, becoming as powerful as Clark. Despite the devastation, Clark remains focused on protecting civilians. The battle becomes a clash of ideologies: Zod's ruthless survival versus Clark's compassion and hope. As buildings crumble and lives are endangered, Clark realizes that defeating Zod may require an unimaginable sacrifice. Zod reveals that without Krypton, he has no purpose, making him even more dangerous. In a tense final confrontation, Zod threatens innocent civilians with his heat vision. Clark is forced into an impossible decision: to save the lives of others, he ultimately kills Zod, ending the threat but deeply traumatizing himself. This act weighs heavily on him, as it contradicts his values. However, it also solidifies his role as Earth's protector. Clark learns that being a hero sometimes requires painful choices, and he must live with the consequences of his actions. In the aftermath of the battle, Metropolis begins to recover from the devastation. The world now knows of Superman, though opinions about him remain divided. Some see him as a savior, while others fear his immense power. Clark decides to embrace both sides of his identity. He adopts the persona of a journalist at the Daily Planet, allowing him to stay close to humanity while secretly protecting it. Lois agrees to keep his identity safe, becoming one of his trusted allies. Clark finds a sense of belonging, balancing his Kryptonian legacy with his human upbringing. Clark Kent steps into his role as Superman, symbolizing hope for a world that desperately needs it. Guided by the values instilled by his adoptive parents and the legacy of his biological father, he commits to protecting Earth from future threats. Though challenges lie ahead, Clark is no longer uncertain about his purpose. He understands that he is a bridge between two worlds, capable of inspiring humanity to be better. As he takes flight, soaring through the skies, Superman becomes a beacon of hope, courage, and resilience, ready to face whatever challenges the future may bring.